Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G. So glad that you can tune in tonight. We're going to have an exciting show. Tonight's guest got started on the road to researching Moore's history after a random day of watching a YouTube series featuring Grand Sheik Sabir Bey entitled Driver's License Fraud. He said this happened on his way to taking his daughter to the daycare center when the video just popped up out of nowhere. And what a synchronistic event that was. It ignited a fire and a passion in this Mecca, aka Chicago born and raised father and son, to begin fact checking everything that he heard the Grand Sheik said. After Grand Sheik's claims checked out to be true, Cush Dey embarked on a journey of research, revelation, and dissemination of more information from that day forward. He said later, meeting the likes of Sabir Bey, Abdullah Talib, Mosi Bey, and other learned Moors would further solidify the fact that the wool has been pulled over our people's eyes for centuries, and that we've been systematically slaughtered and left in mental darkness by design. A barber by profession, Cush Dey has the perfect setting for chopping it up with those who sit in his and other barbers' chairs. His diligent study and research have earned him a place among those looked to for knowledge and insight backed by scholarly, erudite research in this day and time. His duty and mission is to uplift fallen humanity with free national standards and principles enforcing treaties and constitutional law. I want you all to help me welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G, Brother Cush Dey. I'm trying to unmute you, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Peace, peace, peace.
How are you?
What's the word?
How are you?
I'm great. What's up?
It was like everything that could happen was happening today. We were having problems.
Yeah, it's like a wild day.
Yeah, well,
it's a wild day today.
I am so happy that we were able to get that situation straightened out so that you could be here with us tonight.
Right.
And excited. I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to our discussion because you have such a wealth of knowledge, and I began watching you. I don't know, one or two of your videos, I started seeing them on other Facebookers pages. As a matter of fact, so many people share your video lessons. You have the literature out there, the books and the research that you've done, and you're not just reading what's there, but I love the fact that you expound in depth on what's going on. So to get started, I read your bio, and I hope they could hear me because I had the music up so loud. I got to get this thing adjusted so we can figure it out. But anywho, tell us about Cush Dey, because we see the Cush Dey, the Facebook Cush Dey that's hitting hard and chopping it up with you and the other brother. I can't remember his appellation, but I know that oftentimes there's a brother and you are kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, dynamic duo.
Okay.
That's the dynamic duo. That's my brother Sunday out of L.
Okay, peace. You know, well, we have to get you both. You know, one thing about this platform, I can have up to nine guests on here. So one day maybe we'll do a sort of a round table right here on Office Hours with Dr. T. But tell us about you. You know, you and I, spoke, and I love to speak with my guests prior to actually coming on, because I want to familiarize myself so that I'm not speaking, from a place of out of the blind. And we had some very fruitful and lively conversations. I'm not sure necessarily if, as a matter of fact, it was so fruitful. We said, darn, we should have been live.
Yeah, we did, right?
We were in my test studio at the time, and oh, darn, it was so deep. I wish we had been going live at the time.
Yep.
Nevertheless, tell us about you. Tell us, who is Cush Dey?
Well, like you introduced me. I'm a father. I'm a barber. I'm a husbandman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the more science is like it. I can't really say that I look for it. You feel me? Like I didn't look for more science. It's like it found me. It found me through various, like, going to churches. Like we spoke about going to church all your life, and then eventually those questions that you had never really get answered by somebody like a pastor or a minister or a reverend or somebody that belongs to a mosque. So what I do is I used to ask a lot of questions, and I never really got a complete answer that made sense. It was always like, pay your tithes. Don't ask questions to God. Don't question God. You better not question God. You're going to go to hell. And I was like, what? Go to hell? At a young age, though. So when I was going to a daycare center one time, and my daughter, she's 8 now. We was going to a daycare center, and somehow Tariq Bey's video popped on my browser. I don't know how Tariq Bey video popped on my browser, but he was talking about, and I'm in rotation. I'm moving around, I'm traveling around. At the time, I would say I was driving, but I know better now. So I was traveling. My daughter in the back seat. I'm trying to play something so that I could just, move around. And Tariq Bey video popped on. So I was like, man, who the hell is this dude? You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about, at the time, he was talking about driver license fraud. So I'm like, man, I'm just gonna leave him on, because he started to say some stuff that was like, man, this dude kind of makes sense. I don't know who the hell he is, but he making some sense. So I'm like, okay, boom. I let him rock the whole time I dropped my daughter off at the daycare until I came back home. And I was like, man, this dude is tripped out, because he answering a lot of questions that I got. I'm like, man, what the hell I need a license for? Why do I need a license? So I was like, kind of like, man, like this dude, let me research what he was talking about, Tariq Bey, Grand Sheikh Tariq Bey. So the more questions that I have for Tariq Bey, Dr. G, the more I tried to prove him wrong. I tried to really prove him wrong on what he was talking about. But every time I had dug into another question and I got an answer, it was what he was talking about. So I'm like, man, this dude was on point. I never really heard nobody spit it like that, and it made sense and it clicked. So I was like, okay. And this was like 6 years ago. It was like about 6.5 years ago. But I didn't really start going hard on the more science until I had some run-ins with police, with policy enforcers. Yeah. Then I started to, you know what I'm saying? I started to flex I started to flex a little bit, like, man, let me start taking this serious. So that's what kicked it off. Grand Sheikh Tariq Bey.
It's interesting. A lot of people have the same, not necessarily the exact same experience, but they've heard either Grand Sheikh or some other more that's talking about more science and nationality and birthright, and kind of brushed it off. But I always say that you can't unhear what you heard. Once you've heard something, even if you seem to say that I don't have anything to do with that. And I can use myself for an example, and most people probably will find this hard to believe, but I met Grand Sheikh as a result of an introduction made by Sister Zodiacus L Rest her, may she rest in peace. And Sister Zodiacus Elwood had showed up at the House of Reawakening Minds. I was just transitioning out of the church as being the apostle pastor, and everybody was gone, and I was, getting this new assignment. And she came and she's like, I'm here to help you. She was like that kind of, sister. And eventually she took me to Philadelphia, and Grand Sheik was teaching a regular class there at a community center. And I met him. It was in October 2011, maybe September 2011. And I was so impressed by what I heard, even though I really, like I said, I'm churched, but I'm unchurching myself, right?
Yeah.
I didn't stood up to the fact that they were trying to put me out of the church that I founded. And so I stood my ground, they left, and now I'm here. Like, how you gonna have a church when I got no folks? So this sister showed up. Long story short, I meet Grand Sheik. I invite him to come to my fledgling new whatever I'm doing to teach a class, and did not know that at some point he had been in Delaware helping one of the temples. There was a temple here that he helped get started, and I didn't know anything about that. And apparently by this time, 2011, it had folded. Things weren't going. So anyway, he was familiar with Delaware. He came, and so people were familiar with him because, remember, something had going on when I was still deep in the church. I had no idea. And he came in October and began to teach, and people came from everywhere. And I still didn't understand this stuff. Matter of fact, I was in a government job, and at the time I was not at the top of where I ended up, before I left, but I was in a middle management position in a government job, working with dealing with housing and federal programs. And there were these people coming here talking about, we Moors and we could take houses. We own the land, and I'm sitting there going, I'm working, for the municipality, and I'm working in the department that deals with housing, and I'm trying to figure out how is this so? And over the I want to say about maybe 3 or 4 years, I sponsored the venue. He's up here teaching once a month at the time.
Okay.
And I sat in his presence where so many people would have loved to have been. And I was just there. It was like for everybody else, it was for those people that got stopped because they were driving without a license, not traveling. But in my mind, that's what they get. They should have had a license. Or people who were evicted, well, they should have paid the rent or the mortgage. My brain was still, when you don't do this is what. So I'm listening, I'm sponsoring the venue. So I got my feet in 2 different places for at least from 2011 until January 2017. But before we get to 2017, I wake up and it's like ding ding. One day the light bulb goes on, and my means change, because then I realized that it wasn't about remedy, because there were so many people that were coming and flooding House of Reawakening Minds because they were looking for a way out of something. And I realized we needed to get back to something that we had lost. And it was just like, all of a sudden, everything I didn't know I'd heard Grand Sheik say in those years preceding the light going on, all of a sudden it hit me. And I realized it's birthright, it's nationality, I've had stuff stolen from me. I'm not who I think I am. I'm better than, it was a lot of things flooding in. And that's my, when I had, my, as they would say, my come to Jesus moment, so to speak, in terms of realizing the value of where I was sitting in the presence of this man, you know what I mean? And had the ability, had his phone number, could talk to him anytime I wanted to, you know what I mean? Any of these things that people would love to do, I could do. And I was taking it for granted. You see what I'm saying? And so I had to get in my mind, though, that, and it's been a process. It helped me more when I retired. But before I retired, I was pretty much awakened to the fact that I needed to declare my nationality. But maybe the 4 years or so prior to that, 4 or 5 years, he was coming. It was for those people. It had nothing to do with me. By the time I left there, I headed the Department of Real Estate and Housing. So I was the director. Okay.
Yeah.
I was a cabinet member of that particular mayor's cabinet. And here I had been sponsoring these Moorish meetings for, at that point, 6 years. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but it was just that, I had these two, I had this public life and this private life, but I knew at the beginning, I thought it was important for everybody else. And then eventually I realized it was important for me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because, man, when I got introduced to the more science on that Taj Tariq video, I started asking questions that no pastor could answer. Then I started getting frustrated. And then Sabir Bey, my brother Sabir Bey, he had came to Chicago, the Mecca. He came to Mecca, and he was at the Culture Connection Center. And it was tripped out because I saw it on Facebook, and I'm like, man, I'm finna be there. I'm finna be there. So me and my wife, we went to the Culture Connection Center, and it was wild though, because I'm like, this dude finna come to the slums. He finna come to the hood. You know what I'm saying? Where it really go down there. So I'm like, and then when I met him, he was by himself. He was armed with the knowledge though. So I was like, man, that took me for like something like he came dolo by himself to the trap. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm listening to him talk. Sabir Bey, I'm listening to him talk, and he was just dropping bombs out about, and everything he was saying was starting to make more sense. So I'm like, okay, this is when the wheels start kind of turning. What made me like, all right, I need to start studying some more about whatever this more science is, because at that time I'm still not really in it, but the wheels are turning. So I'm like, all right, let me start dropping some bread on some books. So I'm dropping some bread on some books. So after I did that, Dr. G, I met Abdullah. Sabir came back to the shop, and he introduced me to Abdullah Bey. And Abdullah, he was talking about, it was so wild because they was in a Masonic temple. So they in a Masonic temple in front of all these so-called black Freemasons. And Abdullah was just in there dropping fire out. I'm like, yo, this dude dropping bombs out. He dropping straight bombs out. So I'm like, and they just listening, but whole time I could see that they was like the energy, they was kind of like trying to edge him to finish, like hurry up and finish. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the energy.
The truth.
Yeah. So Abdullah was just spitting fire out about how we got a nationality. We not black, we not Negro in color. And I'm seeing Sabir, Abdullah there, and my brother Bruce was there. And I'm like, this is what I'm on. At that night, I was like, this is what I'm on. This is what I'm on. And that's how my appellation Cush Dey came, because I asked Abdullah about why did we let the Europeans here? Why we let them in here in the first place? And he was like, brother, you know how he talk. He was like, brother, he was like, it's a story behind that. It's not just cut and dry. He started telling me about the days though from Algiers, how the days was on that. Like they wasn't taking no crap from nobody, taking like nothing. So he started telling me about the days. So I'm like, okay, the days, huh? He was like, the days was ruthless, like pirates though. So I was like, I like that. He said, but they was banging for their people though on the Mediterranean. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's what they came from. And then I started researching Cush, and it started dropping the jewels down about who Cush was, how he was a son of Ham, and how the land was our land. So I'm like, okay. And that was like the knowledge of that transpired to the day. And I was like, okay, with my appellation Cush Dey from now on, here on out. That's it. And it stuck to me. So I was like, all right, I'm finna just go hard now. That was it. That was it.
But it fits you. You know, you found you. I guess I'm not a guess. It appears that Grand Sheik magically appeared, on your cell phone.
I don't know how you got on my browser.
It was a day, I tell people when it comes to waking up, everybody has their own timetable. And a lot of times people, ask me, what do I do? I'm trying to tell people. I had somebody text me this week. I'm trying to wake up. I'm like, stop trying. I had to learn this the hard way. Don't try to wake other people up.
Right.
You wake up. Let them see you woke. And they can't unsee what they saw. They can't unhear what they've heard. And if you're saying and doing something that resonates with them, just like you started getting run-ins with the policy enforcers, and you were like, let me go back and investigate this stuff. That's how it happens. And I think we're in a time now where we're seeing a lot more in 2011, 2012, 13-ish, even up to about 14. I think I was seeing more coming to the House of Reawakening Minds. Most people had an issue. Most people were fighting, having been, kidnapped, having been, stopped while traveling, and which was called driving. But now, and I couldn't understand that at the time. But we are driving. But see, that's the lie they told us, because when you realize that the definition of or one who drives is one who does this for a living, like a tractor trailer driver, a bread delivery truck driver, commerce. We're not doing that, unless you are engaged in driving for your personal profession. But most of us aren't. And the fact that we have agreed to the fraud and allowed ourselves to be contracted with these licenses, but the issue has always been how, and it came up Friday, Sunday evening when Grand Sheik was here, a lot of these things, like, how do we undo this stuff? You know what I mean? You were on the live. And so undoing the stuff that we've agreed to is probably the biggest how to question, the $64,000 question, how do we get out of this? So it's a lot of stuff happening right now. We talked about some things the other day, and I do remember a couple of things I want to bring up. I asked you
which one you want to talk? Which one you want to chop it up on?
I want to start right out with this one, because I had a specific reason for asking you this, and I asked you when we spoke. I said, prior to our former commander-in-chief's rise from being a senator in Illinois to then taking that position, getting that, being elected to that position, quote unquote. I said, you being a native Chicagoan, or whatever y'all are called over there, did you know about him? Was he public? Was he doing all of this? Because a lot of times when you have community activists, everybody knows who's doing what. Right. And I said, and I just kind of matter of factly said, I expected you to say, yeah, because he used to do what you said.
Nah, because first off, I'm from the South Side. I'm from the Hundreds. So he was out there on the East Side. So I don't know what they really do on the East Side, like over there, like that. Because like I said, I'm from the Hundreds. So I didn't know nothing about Barack Obama until he got elected to the de facto, to the Senate. When he got elected, then like it started to be some kind of, like some noise as far as Barack Obama. But before that, nah, I didn't hear nothing about Barack Obama.
What about his campaign for the Senate?
No, all that was quiet. All that was dead quiet. Like from all the hype and the hoopla that they made it seem like the whole Chicago was behind. And I can only speak for myself, but I didn't know nothing about dude until he was about to run for the Senate. That's when I started to hear like Barack Obama. And then you seen the momentum start picking up as far as our people, backing Barack Obama. But of course they was calling him a black man. And I was like, black man. I'm like, and then I saw something. He did an interview with Tom Joyner out here in Chicago. He did an interview. And Tom Joyner had implied that he was a black man. And Obama checked him though. He was like, he's not black. He checked him live on the radio. He said, I'm not black. Well, I don't know if he said he's not black, but he told him in a way that he told him that he was not a black man. That's a fact.
But was he telling him, in a sense, to correct the wrong that had been enforced on all of our, these melanated people? Was he just saying, I'm not one of them?
Yeah, he's just saying, I'm not black. I'm not black. You could pull that up on the Google. I wish I had my other tablet right now, but I will pull that quote up right now. He told Tom Joyner on the radio live, he's not black though. Something about he's not a black man, he's not black, because Tom Joyner tried to imply that he was a black man. And of course, Barack Obama knows his nationality. He's a constitutional lawyer, so he knows that color of law is dead.
Right. And it would be later on that he would make the statement of, and deal with the rights of indigenous people and so forth. But even when that happened, it appeared that there were no Moors standing up there, being told that you are indigenous to this land. It was more the de facto, Native Americans that occupy the reservations of today. And we spoke about that too.
Yeah.
And I think, can you speak on that? We were talking about that yesterday.
As far as wait, did I got that book on me? Oh, I got it in the room. You talking about as far as the so-called Indians when they took on the title with that?
Yes.
When they got them drunk.
Right.
When they got them drunk. Hold up. I got that book. Hold up. Let me grab this book real quick. It's right there. Hold up.
Okay. Okay. Listen, thank you all for bearing with us. We just want to share some information with you that we feel is pertinent. So appreciate, your overstanding, and brother will be right back. In the meantime, I was able to myself find a book. Let me see if I made a picture copy of it.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to go grab the ammo.
Right.
I had to grab the ammo. So, as far as the so-called Indians, when they were getting them drunk, where's that at? I wish I could turn this camera around to see us, so we could show the audience and the world what it really say. But it says that it says, I don't know if they could see the book.
Yeah, taking a look. Yeah, the book is called. I'm trying to move it over.
It's called Indigenous Peoples and the State.
Okay.
Indigenous Peoples and the State.
I remember you said it was by
Bradley Reed Howard.
Okay.
Indigenous Peoples and the State. And I wish I could turn this camera around because I want to pull. I like pulling the crowd into the book.
I don't know whether you can just put the book in front of. Well, I don't see you, so I guess you can't. No, you can't do that. When you do that, yeah, because when you do that, you actually are gone, and it just shows like a little spot. But I had hoped that you were going to send that to me, then I would have put it up.
Also, I just I'll take a picture of it, and then I'll still send it to you though.
Right, but maybe you could just read an excerpt from that part about the deliberately using alcohol to subjugate them.
Yeah, it says trade with the Europeans, no matter how peaceful the relations and how equitable the transactions, consistently led to the decline of so-called Indian autonomy and sovereignty. The sale of land, for example, moved in only one direction, from so-called Indian to European, Albion. The territory from so-called Indian political authority to hybrid European political authority. Early on, the lucrative fur trade fueled the Industrial Revolution, but the sale of pelts to Europeans ultimately led to the decline of animal populations, to economic wars between so-called Indian tribes as they fought for access to European markets and for control of hunting grounds, and to disruption of traditional Indian values and cultures. Now, this is where it get juicy at, right here. So-called Indians quickly became dependent upon the firearms, textiles, and metal tools and utensils that they received in exchange from Europeans. And as a consequence, they apparently lost both appreciation for much of their traditional material culture and the knowledge needed for its manufacture. The so-called Indians also received alcohol in exchange for their products, and alcoholism immediately became the severe problem that it continues to be to this day. The Europeans consciously targeted the shamans, a central figure of so-called Indian traditional culture, for elimination.
Wow. That's that. I told you when I was in the Army, there was a private that was in my platoon, Stenich, and she was from one of the reservations. We were at Fort we called it Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, and she had a major issue when we started to get freedom. You know, she said that a lot of her people dealt with alcoholism, and she herself dealt with it because we had to keep her in check so that we always get in trouble. Because if she got a little bit of, like what they say, fire water in her, it was, you know, she lost all sense of, well, she didn't care that she was in you know, once we started getting some freedom. So, and she did have a problem with that. And she was one of those amalgamated Native Americans. So we realize and we see that that was a deliberate dis-ease that was forced upon, or, you know, kind of after a while, you know, people get used to certain things. And one of the things I noticed, you're talking about the fur traders and so forth, there are quite a few shows on Hulu and Netflix, but I think mainly, I don't know what I've seen mostly on Hulu, between Hulu and Netflix, that were series about when the British or different ones were coming over here, and they had these companies, these fur trading companies, and they were all fighting for some level of control the land, and they were trying to usurp, you know, the so-called indigenous people at the time that were there. I found this book too I use Scribd a lot because I don't want to buy. I have, you know, I got a zillion books, but now before I purchase them, I look and see, can I find it on Scribd? Right. And this book was called, it's written in 1999, but I think the second edition was written in 2012 by Linda Tujwa Smith, and she's from, I forgot where she's from, but it's called Decolonize, because Greg Sheik was talking about this Friday, and, you know, we were talking about decolonization. And it's called Decolonizing Methodologies, Research, and Indigenous Peoples. And this is, I don't know if we can see. I'm trying to hold this up because I don't know if it can be seen because my camera is, I don't know whether
you can see it, but it's like blurry.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get a little closer. My camera is somewhere other than where I am. But anywho, but the interesting part about it, she was the interesting thing that I got from what this woman wrote was the fact that most of the research that has gone into decolonization has been done by the same folks that are the colonizers. That she was attempting to do through this book was to bring the art of research to indigenous people, that that indigenous peoples begin to research and also be able to start or enact the research from our own perspective. Because most things that are being done from a Eurocentric, you know, a modern European perspective, and not from that of, you know, of the people that is normally focused on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that. And I put down a little bit of what she said. This is an excerpt, and it says that the message of decolonization issuing from many writers in the field is that the process of decolonizing can be extremely messy, often leading to extreme violence, and that in a political sense, it can fail miserably, replacing one corrupt elite with its mimics. Because you can't turn around and get from under the thumb of some European modern European colonizer, only to go under the thumb of a melanated group of
right.
else. And so it says the intellectual project of decolonizing has to set out ways to proceed through a colonizing world. It needs a radical compassion that reaches out, that seeks collaboration, and that is open to possibilities that can only be imagined as other things fall into place. And it goes on, but it's basically a book to teach indigenous people how to begin to, not only, the first part of it is how to do the research, and the second part, I think, is how to do the decolonization process.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
That's one of the because we keep asking, because Grand Sheik was saying it over and over, on Sunday, when people say, well, what do we do? Decolonization. And then people
decolonize. We have to decolonize. We have to decolonize, and that can only be done by nationalization. That's it.
But the fact that in 1999, when she initially wrote this book, she's saying it could be messy, and I believe the messiness and the violent part of it is because they don't want to let go,
right,
of what they now got their so-called roots in.
Yeah.
So their roots have gone down, and they're gripping the rock, saying this this is our Gibraltar. This is where we come from. But they're quick to say, at the same time, if you ask a nationality, if their family background is German, then they're German. Italian, Italy, Italian. So you can't be both. And I think the reason why, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel that the reason why perhaps they wanted to stick us with the African American was to justify them being, German Americans and Russian Americans.
That's a part of it, because when you look at what the Honorable Noble Drew Ali said, the Prophet, what he said was, the European is gonna have to look death in the face, and that is so powerful, because that relies from then until now. Our people are complacent when they think that this European, like you just building on, how this European is just so damn comfortable in our land that they holding on. They pretty much said, you know what, we taking they shit. We here, we taking they shit, and it ain't nothing that they gonna do about it, because they so gone in their head, they so colonized that they don't even think that this is their land. They don't even think this is their land. And that's what Albion hybrid Europeans are on to this day, Dr. G. They think that by them being here for these couple centuries, that we didn't got dumbed down by the John D. Rockefeller school system so much that we can never rise. But you got to go back to what George Washington said, though. He said, whoa, they're not dead. They're not dead. We gonna rise. Because they thought Haram Abiff was dead. Nah, we Haram Abiff, we not dead, but we about to get out that shallow grave right now, because the new Moors is here. The new Moors is here.
And they play that over and over in their rituals, in their Masonic rituals. And so they know. But the problem, what I'm seeing today with the BLM, BLM and all that's going on I want to say, we could go back to just this year, but it goes way, way, way further back than that. Yeah. But if you just start at the beginning of 2020, the year of, was it clear vision, right? 2020 vision.
2020 vision.
Me with the glasses on, I can't see, talk about 2020 vision. But anyway, if you go back to the beginning of the year, as things begin to take shape, it has been as if things have shut down so that other things that were more pressing to some certain people could take place during the period of our distraction and our limited mobility, limited ability to communicate, to travel, to do a lot of things, to commerce, to trade, to do the things that we normally were doing. And in place of what we normally have done, we seem to have been given a fear, negative prophecies, if you will, of what is to come and how long what's to come is going to be here and when it's coming back to get you worse and all these things. But if you go back to January, I keep going back just for this year, they kicked it off with Kobe.
Yeah, they murked Kobe because that was a ritual right there, because it's no way that somebody of his intelligence would get on a helicopter in a foggy time with his children on there, and then a chance of the possibility that plane coming down. No, sir. That was an execution. That was an execution.
Yeah, it seemed very ritualistic, and it seemed to be sort of like the start of whatever the latest round of whatever it was, and to me, in my opinion, what we're seeing is mainly political, has very little to do with anything other than trying to take our attention off of other things that are happening, arrests, exposures of high profile people who have been involved in all kinds of trafficking and human trafficking and adrenochrome and
all of that. But only the crazy part, Dr. G, is only the Moors are talking about that though. You're not gonna find out none of this information unless you listening to conscious Moors that's conscious of their consciousness and are really telling people what time it really is, because people think, because by the indoctrination, that they got a lot of time to figure this stuff out. Really, the shit didn't already went through the fan already. So we don't have a lot of time to be like, let's take some time to figure it out. We ain't got time like that. We got right now to figure out real quick. You better get your nationality together, because this European hybrid not playing at all. And Kobe, you had look, they murked Kobe because he was into a lot of stuff, getting his businesses up, murked him off, murked his children off, sacrificed for one child, murk them all, get all of them, murk them all. Then on top of that, you got the other stuff popping off right now. You got all these warrants going off around, these thousands of warrants about this underground adrenochrome from slaughtering these babies. The cocaine down there in Mexico and all that, the cocaine trails. They shut. That's what Trump was. Trump, the hybrid Albion, he throwing keys out. But of course, he's not really gonna, be blunt and say what time it is. He throwing keys out, but he got an agenda too, because he, what I'm saying, he a Templar. He's a Templar, so he like the good cop and the bad cop. I mean, I can't really trust what he's saying, but I listen to it and do some investigation on it, some research. But our people, if it's not like, how they say, Dr. G, if it's not like right in your face, you forget about it. You forget about it. Our people, since it's not right in it, I mean, I don't see how this shit not right in our people's face, because we out here getting slaughtered on the streets. And we still thinking when Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, because they murked old boy Floyd. And then we looking around for answers, and they just say, put a mask on. Put a mask on. Stay in your house. Don't come outside. It's going to be okay. It ain't going to be okay unless we make it okay. And this hybrid Albion European is not playing with us. They not our friends. I don't give a fuck how cool you are with them. You could be cool all day, but you better recognize that you gotta love. You better be with your own people when it goes down. Cause you trying to go with them. I don't see Dr. G. Do you ever see Do you ever see lions mingling with hyenas?
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I ain't never seen nothing like that. I ain't never seen a deer chill with a wolf. I ain't never seen that. Cause it's against nature. And nature gonna take its course. Nature is gonna take its course, and Mother Nature is pissed off. And everybody out here playing around like, well, it's gonna be okay if you just pray about it and put something in the collection plate. Yeah, all right. What that's been doing? Getting you broke, looking for answers, and the Moors are out here giving answers out all the time. Facts.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and in every group, every time there's groups trying to do good, you're always going to have those who may or may not be a part of any type of COINTELPRO necessarily, but there's something that's been kind of bred into our people to cause divisiveness, and to want to know, well, who's in charge. If it's not who I want to be in charge, then I don't want to be a part of it. And so it's those kinds of attitudes that will keep us from ever getting back to our original greatness. And those are some of the things that pain me. And a lot of times things come to me because I get so many calls to so many people reach out to me that I'm privy to a lot of different things. And so I have to learn how to compartmentalize my mind and my heart and look at things objectively and subjectively. And so when you bring up like I don't even talk to people much about this Trump situation as you brought it up, because I see how somebody sent me something the other day. No, I put something up. It was a woman, an Albion daughter, talking about some things that, have you thought about this, that, when they told us to do this and that, yet they did this and that. So I posted it. And so somebody put something on one comment said something like she answered in a typical Trumpian fashion or something like that. And so my thing was, truth has nothing to do with it, irregardless of Trump. Truth is truth, right? And I said, we have got to stop putting everything through a quote unquote Trumpian filter, because he is not as much of enemy as the ones that some of y'all went out and voted for today. I didn't go out.
They voted. So today they was voting. They voted today.
My state, they had the primary, and I don't know what they had other places, but I don't want no parts of it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, so, how can property vote anywhere?
Well, it doesn't count.
Right. It don't count.
It doesn't really count. And the thing that they're going to do anyway. And so now that everything is, mail this in, when they have the actual general, they want everybody to mail things, that's like totally, at the mercy of whoever's in charge. And right now, you ought to know who's in charge. And I'm so sick. But I will say this, and I'm saying this on record. I don't apologize if you are a lifelong Democrat and you're watching this, but I had to stop being a Democrat, and that's what I realized I was, a Democrat. A Democrat, because I thought all along that it was synonymous with the party that was good for or had in the best interest of my people. Only to find out that has not been the case, that they've been the bloodsuckers, if you will, that they profited off of my ignorance, of my naivety of believing that they were working for us. Now, that's not to say, I know people, and I have very close melanated friends because I worked in government who are in office, and I love them dearly, and they're part of the party. They're part of it. And I'm not so sure that they're, on a local level, that they are as entrenched as the national ones. But I know for a fact that when you get to the swamp, you get dirty.
Yeah, fact.
There's no way that you can stay clean and you go there. And to me, if you go for one term and then you run for re-election, then you got you, because you saw it in the first term that you were in a swamp.
Yeah, you went up in there, and then whole time, Dr. G, if our people need to look, man, I wish I could flip this book around. Our people need to look in law books. I got a Black's Law 4th edition in front of me right now. And then before we even go further, as far as speaking about Trump and all that, that whole narrative is some bullshit, because you got to go to what it is. Hybrid Albion Europeans, they're not Americans. So if we get that in our head, just that part, they're not Americans, they're foreigners. We are the Americans. That right there will kill them having any kind of diversity of citizenship here anyway. They're not American. And then that fact alone, then you go to what a president is. A president is the chief officer of a corporation, company, board, committee, etc. They have the direction for the administration. They have those concerns for the direction of the administration. They don't have concerns for people. We the people. See, we got to get this law in our head, though. We got to get the law in our head. And then you got the ones that's talking about they wanna be a politician. Whole time they don't even realize that the platform has been dissolved since 1861. It's been dead. It's been dead. Really, it's been dead since Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
It's been dead since Abraham Lincoln. He was the last president for the people, for the republic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Facts. We got to see, and I'll be seeing Grand Sheik Taj build on this all the time, and other Moors build on it. We gotta have, and I do my best to put reference points out. We gotta have reference points. We can't just be like this. We gotta have reference points that's clear, precise, because our people, the attention span is like this. It's so quick that they end up missing it because they got, like, you know what I'm saying, programs that have these low attention spans. And that's some of the main causes of our problems, along with the miseducation of the school systems. The attention span. Like we eating junk food watching TV. That shit is junk food. You know? Then you wonder why you got migraines, headaches. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why, like, you doing like all these like weird little things and whatnot. You watching too much. You need to unplug, fam. Unplug out of the artificial womb, fam. For real. I'm just going, doctors. You go ahead. I'm
looking at, I don't know if you see them. I'm looking at some of the comments, and I see where someone said that's why they tried to impeach him. I'm assuming they mean Trump. But with Trump, they've done a series of things, even up to I think, and including the CV-19. I'm just not going to say it for what it is. The CV-19 PD. You know what I mean? I'm just using codes because I don't want to. You know, I think all of that has been a political power play on the side, on the part of the Democratic, you know, party, so that they could make people like us. Because first of all, you got to realize we are their food. We are their source, and that's what I don't think folks realize. We are their source. So you got to get us to believe that everything you're saying against him, when you're just as crooked, maybe crookeder, and even though he's like a person of privilege and, like you said, a nice Templar, he was recruited to expose the very swamp that he's in also. And he don't have nothing to lose. These people have been profiting. They have been waging war on melanated peoples around the globe, destroying their economic base, destroying, you know, their natural resource, stealing their natural resources, taking their women and children and all of their various nefarious activities, and then bombing and destroying, and then sending their people in like Halliburton and so forth to profit on rebuilding it. But then now they got yet another base here, another place to start using for trafficking, calling it a base, but you're using it for human trafficking and things like that. And we allow these things. There have been enough Moors, melanated men and women, who have fought in enough foreign wars for them, who have seen what actually goes on to know what is actually up.
And that's another thing. That's another point. I'm glad you said that, Dr. G, because that's another banger. That's another PowerPoint as far as stop joining these goddamn police. These police academies, pull our people out of these police academies, pull our people out of the military, because if you do some research on Hitler, Hitler had his soldiers, and I wish I could turn this camera around and y'all can see this book. It's called Isonomy. It's called Isonomy, the Great Masonic Secret, the Master Keys. Hitler had his soldiers wearing fezzes because he studied more science. Of course, they didn't wear the fez with the tassel, but they had the fez on as part of their uniform. And what did Hitler say? Hitler said, if y'all get them stovepipes out of that war, we'll kick y'all ass.
So they have us over there fighting for them.
Yeah,
and there was no fight without us.
Yeah, why are our people, and the irony right now is our people, like the Vietnam, like my father was in the Vietnam and all that. He still got PTSD because of that shit. And he don't even really want to talk about it. So it's a brand new joint that came out on it's called The Five Bloods by Spike Lee. So did you see that, Dr. G?
I saw it on I think Amazon has it or something, but I didn't look at it. You haven't looked at it.
Well, I ain't gonna give it away, but I'm just gonna say this though, for the people that didn't see it, it's a great message. Even though Spike Lee, he got contracts, he got to put the color of law shit in there, all the color black and all that. But the message was, it's a powerful scene in there where this Viet Cong lady is she's a broadcaster.
She's like that Hanoi Hannah, or whatever, the one that was.
Yeah. And she building on, she like black, she was like, Black GI, your government send 600,000 troops over here to fight against us. Meanwhile, she called them, and I asked my father, did they talk like that? She says, your soul brothers and soul sisters are back at home getting murdered. We getting murdered. Look at our attention. We are over there in Vietnam fighting against people that are Moors. Never like Muhammad Ali said, they never called me a nigga. They never took my nationality away. They never told me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. We over there fighting for them for what? And we getting killed. Then we come home, leg blown off, shoulder blown off. We got all kind of stuff wrong with us. Agent
Mind messed up in the head.
Mind tore up. And what we gained? They didn't even, we couldn't even get a job. My father told me it was so rough. They didn't even honor the so-called Black Vietnam people like that.
The GI Bill. Now, with some of those earlier veterans, melanated veterans, they, even though they fought the war, they weren't able to access the GI Bill.
You see that? Yeah. And why we over there fighting for them? So again, our people have to get this in their heads, for real. Like, you're not gonna do something set up as a de facto, something that was corrupt from the beginning. You're not gonna decorrupt, fam. It's already corrupt. Like the police, they set up to murder us. They not set up to give us justice. They're set up as private commercial mercenaries. So how can you say, well, I'm just gonna join the police academy and I'm gonna be a change? Nah, you're not gonna be a change, because the whole platform is set up to murder us. And yo, Dr. G, it's so crazy, the irony of the police and the virus right now. Who is the virus? The virus is Albion, Europeans. Everywhere they go, to and from, they devour nations, just like a virus. Everywhere they go, they devour nations. And who they get to do their dirty work? Us, the mighty Moors. And they the virus. So how do you kill a virus? You have to decolonize. What they do, Dr. G, they sprayed up the hospital, they spray the whole area out. You got to spray the whole area out, and you got to get rid of them. You got to decolonize. You have to get your own stuff together in your house. You got to let the virus die by itself.
we have a question here from Ferial L. What is up with this black militia group? Most of them are supposed to be ex-military. Are they actually helping to bring on a bloodbath?
Are they helping to bring on the bloodbath? I wouldn't say that they're helping to bring on a bloodbath, but you got to go by the facts. If first of all, if you're saying you black, you already behind the 8 ball. You got a bullet to you got a barrel to your head already, because in law you already dead. Civil of the Motus. You feel me? And then you under the black status, you joining up with a military pretty much that goes to different nations and devours the nation. They set up, like you said, Dr. G, they set up bases. Look at Hawaii. They went to Hawaii. They set up bases all in Hawaii. They violate the Constitution, and they still have ships there in Hawaii right now. Why are they still there? It's no war over there.
Right.
It's no war over there in Hawaii. So why they have a naval base set up right there on the land? Come on, man. They went to Iraq. What they do over there? They murked Saddam, allegedly. They murked Hussein. I mean, whatever fam name was. Then they killed the guy from Libya.
Gaddafi. And he was doing stuff. He was trying to unify and bring the, the silver,
Gaddafi.
gold and silver standard to,
Gaddafi was so G with it. He was willing to help out. It's documented. And I wish I could flip this camera around. But
this time, I heard he was even reaching out to Farrakhan and doing,
they didn't do nothing with it though. Right. They didn't do nothing with it. But then he also reached out to Chief Malik Blackstone. He was the leader of the Blackstones, and he reached out to Larry Hoover. This Chicago stuff, but he reached out to the leaders out there, and they wasn't a gang. See, Dr. G, they'll try to blur the lines and make it seem like that Larry Hoover, the Bloods, and like that's Chicago, but the Bloods and Crips out there in LA. In Chicago, we had the Blackstones, we had the Gangster Disciples. So Larry Hoover, Gangster Disciple, the chief, then you had the board, then you had Chief Malik, Jeff Fort, which Jeff Fort had a temple out here in Chicago. And he was getting funded by Gaddafi for armory out here so we could bang against the police. But what happened?
What do you think? Yeah, but what do you think is behind all of the rash? Since we're talking about Chicago, Chirac, we call it Mecca, but it's more Chirac than Mecca. Be honest. What is behind all of this senseless? I mean, these shootings, these murders. I mean, what's up? I mean, you're right there in the thick of it.
Yeah. Real shit. Real shit. It's because they're doing massive gun drops. Like they doing
did that out in Cali, that they would leave rail cars on the rail and would open, and when they finally went in to open them, they with all kinds of arms and ammo.
They dropping this real shit. They dropping crates off like police. They dropping the feds too. They dropping crates off in the lands, and they giving the guns away, and they paying people to murder people, and the police is in on it. That's everybody in Chicago know that. The police are out here doing hits on people, but they'll try to make it like that Tupac Jim Belushi movie. They'll try to make the shit look gang related. See, that's what they doing. They out here murking people, and they trying to make it look gang related when the whole time it's really the police.
Now, see, I heard that they would do like with the Crips and the Bloods. I heard a brother told me what they would do was take, say, lock you up. You a Blood, and they know the ride that you had. So you locked up, but they don't know you locked up. So they take your ride and they put the policy enforcers in it, and then they go over to the Crips territory and they do a drive-by.
Yeah.
You in lockup, but they do a drive-by in a noticeable, recognizable vehicle, and it's being driven, by policy enforcers. And then they all, and then or people, by the time they get their their murdered loved ones' bodies. They already been autopsy, organs are taken, and different things like crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's been happening because Europeans, they only find peace when they're at war. They don't find peace like how Moors find peace. We're spiritual beings. Like we talk with the holy breath. We can chop it up on a logistical, reasonable side, deductive reasoning. They don't do that. If they don't understand it or comprehend it, they destroy it or they slander it. They're doing the same things today as they've been doing. Look at the Boston Tea Party. Look what they did. They painted their faces black. They kicked the war off, and then they act like the Moors kicked it off when really they was the culprits the whole time.
Right.
They got the same military tactics they applied then and now. But Larry Hoover and Chief Malik, they peeped that and they was like, all right, we need to police our own neighborhoods. That's why the Gangster Disciples was kicked off. Because if you look at the principles, see, it's wild, Dr. G. This straight Chicago though. But you got love. Love, why would love be the first principle in the literature of the Gangster Disciples? Love. On both sides though. The Black Peace Stones, they got love as their first principle. And they was wearing fezzes. And they was on that. If you came in the hood, like over there in Woodlawn, if you came over there and they land over there at that time, it's gonna go up. The L. Rookins is gonna go up. But Europeans came in there, they brought division because they came in there with the drugs. They came in there with the drugs. Then they gave them some fiat to set up some programs, and then they got them for tax evasion and racketeering. They set them up. Real shit.
It's amazing how hoodwinked we are, and have been for such a long time. And that now that we're in this 2020 year of clear vision, I am hoping that we begin to really see what's really going on and stop being taken advantage of. And then, I know for many people, to me, the narrative needs to be around getting rid of these brands. First step is getting rid of the brands. And I know that a lot of people have, a lot invested in the Black brand.
Yeah.
More so than they do even in the African American and Negro. And they let Negro go, but they won't let Black go.
No, man, Dr. G, man, that is the $1 million question. Like, how can you in 2020 not be able to control your tongue? You can't control your tongue to say that you're either you are something or you're not something. Just off the basic being able to control your tongue. So if I tell you, when you call yourself Black, it's like you're putting yourself in a graveyard and you jumping in there at the same time. As soon as you say that word Black, you jumping in the grave. And you were jumping there anyway. Or I'll put it to, see, me and Sunday out of L, we just straight blunt with it though. So it's like pretty much you putting your head under the guillotine or you putting a 45 to your head. So you're going to blow your shit off on purpose just because you can't control your tongue? Or are you going to speak life out and do it not even just on the common sense side? Like, you look at something that's Black. This is black and blue. On the common sense side, right? Something that's Black and something that's another color. You're like, what is it? This is white. Here is perfect. This is white. This is Black. We don't look like neither one of those.
No.
So just based off observation, you can't be that. But then you got people that'll be like, oh, I'm Afrocentric and the triple darkness of the melanin, and I gotta be Black. And I'm like, man, you sound like a maniac because you're not that. That's just all common sense.
I heard a fairly good interview that just took place maybe in the last few days or so between Nick Cannon's class, and Professor Griff.
Okay.
It was good, except
what happened?
That Black, you know what I mean? the black, you know, because Nick Cannon comes off as, you know, when he did a lot more talking than I've heard him in a long time about how woke and conscious he is, and you know, he wears a turban on his head and all this stuff, but yet, you know, the black thing, you know, and he was saying, he said black means God, and we're the black gods, and I'm thinking,
he said that?
Yeah, yeah, he did, and so I'm like, bro, no, we're not black. You know, you give it, as old folks in my day when I was growing up, they said you give a good bucket of milk and then you kick it the hell over. You know, so you know but that's, you know, you either you know, you are or you aren't woke. And to me, if you're using that level of colorable terminology, there's something wrong with your wokeness.
There's something wrong with you.
Right. And you're saying that, you know, you somehow you have some privilege. Now he admitted in this interview that when he was like 18 or 19 years old, I think it was, and he was, well, part of Disney, you know, he put a dress on. You know the thing with the guys that put dresses on. But he said he didn't know back then, but he basically was saying no, but he had been coming from he had tried the hood approach and the thug approach. And so now he was in this acting thing. So I guess it was just something to do, but that he was, you know, heterosexual and so forth. So that wasn't the issue. But we know that when they put, you know, and he thought he was following he mentioned he was following in the footsteps of, and he went all the way back to Flip Wilson and Richard Pryor and all the brothers, you know, everybody that put a dress on, you know, and a wig on, Living Color, Jamie Foxx, you know, the Wayans and all that.
All of them. Except Dave Chappelle. I ain't see Dave Chappelle with one on. That's probably why his ass got out of there.
But so these are the things, though, that, you know, we're beginning to see that and learn that over the years that these were rituals. These were things. It's hard to believe that they stopped at dresses to get where they got.
It's crazy.
Me, the higher up they've gotten, the more meteoric their rise. Yeah. The likelihood is that there are things that they have on them, that they allow themselves to go to parties and be photographed doing compromising things, compromising people. And many of those very people, you know, they're showing up now in front of us, giving us the narrative as if they're a part of the news. They were supposed to be singers and actors, but now they're politicians, and their narrative is all like, so I said, while we were shut down, what they were doing was actually doing the movie, preparing the narrative for this great thing we call, you know, the 2020 race for the White House. And it's not, I don't think it's so much a race for the White House as it is like a race to stay alive, to keep the power that it's like going down. And if we do go down, we're gonna take as many down with us as we can.
They want to scorch the earth. They want to scorch the earth, bring everybody down that they can bring down because of lack of knowledge. And then you go to the divine one. Like I see a lot of Moors, but they talking about they be studied up and all that shit. But then I'm like, they not bringing up the divine one about a prophet. And I got an excerpt that it says, those who fail to recognize, this is the prophet, those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin. It is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. Come on, man. And then he say, if you doubt I the prophet, go to those that know law and under an intelligent tone, ask them, and they'd be glad to render you a favorable reply because they're glad to see me bring you out of darkness. Our people are in darkness for a lack of knowledge, and they listening to so-called black politicians, so-called black entertainers. Our people love like listening to beliefs instead of going with the facts. It's either facts or it's nothing. It's an opinion. I ain't got time for your opinions. I ain't got time.
Yeah, so a couple of people have said, unfortunately, Dave Chappelle did don a dress in the movie. They several people.
He so did put a dress on in Prince of Thieves.
Well, did. Martin Lawrence, because we know he did. He was big, and but so much. Somebody says Nick Cannon is on contract by the Satanic and Masonic industry, and they control him in his actions. And that could very be, even though he was saying a lot of stuff, there's a certain amount of leeway that if I wanted to fool the people, I would make the people think that this person could be trusted. This person could be, is what would I say? Defiant of the very industry that the hand that feeds them and doesn't have to worry about retribution, which is hard to believe. It's hard to believe because the ones that don't get anywhere are likely the ones that peeped what was going on and said, no, thank you. And then you have the ones that, end up checking out early. They commit suicide because they've been abused. They've been shattered. They can't take it. They have split personalities because they have to, be this person when this is happening for the public. But, when people want to use them and abuse them, then they have to become somebody's little, bitch, so to speak. And so it's unfortunate. And when we talk about, we put people in these positions of superstardom. I remember one day, not too long ago, I was thinking about stars. You know how they say we are all made of stars. We are all stars. And my higher self said to me that everybody, like, what was the song? Everybody is a star. Remember that's, I don't know if that maybe precedes you. You may know that. I think it was Larry.
I got to hear.
Everybody is I think, and I know the group who it is, but anyway, some of y'all know. Second song called Everybody is a Star. Okay. And my higher self said to me, everybody is a star. The only difference between you and the ones in the movies is that they have been given a false persona of superstardom. Yeah. Right? Because those people that you think are superstars are actually very, very, very controlled, very manipulated, very unlike. They have no real sense of self. And they're being, everything that they're doing, they have agents and handlers and managers and things that determine what in the heck they can and cannot do, can and cannot say, whether they actually have any fiat to do anything. Everything is they've always been on a short string, if you will, short chain. And so you have people glorifying them. And these people are miserable because they've gotten in so deep that they don't know who they are. They have lost they have lost themselves. They have lost themselves. They may have grown up, desiring this or that and wondering how the hell did I let myself get into this?
It's all an illusion, Dr. G. Like already. It's all an illusion. They are dealing with illusions. Just like if you talk about, like, say, like social media explosion, like if somebody put a video up and this shit go viral and whatnot, next thing you know, now the superstar is born, as far as them making a goofy ass video about nothing. Really like they doing the work. They doing the work for the European for them, and they don't even know it because it's some clown shit like a pour water on your head challenge, or drink a fifth challenge, or some other little silly ass challenge that's not even a challenge. Like, do a read a book challenge. Do something like that. Read a book. You know what I'm saying? Do something like that. Like, read to your children challenge for like 30 days. Right. I told Cash before, like, Don't call yourself black for 30 days. Do that challenge.
We should start that.
Don't call yourself black challenge for 30 days, man. Don't call yourself.
Today was the day that everybody was supposed to buy black. I ain't buy nothing. You know, I buy a lot of things. I buy a lot of things. But the post delivery person and the UPS and the FedEx people, they know me by name. But I didn't buy anything today. I didn't care what it was because I wasn't buying black, white, purple, green, yellow, or anything. Because I'm realizing that most of what we're ending up doing is we're being forced into psychologically into, like, one of the things I know that I could talk about something, pick up my phone, and then for the next month, every time I pick up the phone, an ad pops up for what I was talking about. Yeah, the phone. I may have looked at something on Google, and now every time I pick up the damn phone, I got a pop-up ad telling me, you know, this is, you know, she buys this stuff, so let's give her more of that. And we are so predictably programmed as a people, you know what I mean? I mean, like, even like this, you know, like I said, they know that this kind of stuff is going on. And it's unfortunate the platforms that we have to use, we don't control. Right. So if they decide that they want to flag something as, you know, not, you know, against the community, and I'm like, what community? Whose community? Because our community loves it. Right. We have a community, and if you're outside of this community, stay off the feed.
I mean, say that. Yeah. What say? Just talk that talk, Dr. G. That's just talk that talk, because the people tired of, like, because, you know, it's like when we have something, it's always it's ours as far as we created it. Like everything through our history, we create everything and make it cold. Everything we do, European Albions, they come in, they make us, they throw our little suggestions, because they can't make us do shit, but they throw our little suggestions. They come pull people to the side. They offer them little side deals. Next thing you know, after the side deal, the person that they gave the bread to, now they go hate on the next person and then try to bring them down. It's like our people get pleasure out of seeing our own people fall. It's like a sickness, like, that really need to be, like, spit out of our consciousness. Like, we should not feel good about the next person's demise or their fall.
And I don't feel good about the demise even of Albion's sons and daughters. I mean, I don't. I just think that we have to deal with ourselves first. It's like, for instance, if both of us went overboard whitewater rafting, which I don't even know why I would be doing that, but say we both did, myself and an Albion, before I go and try to save them, don't you think first I need to try to save myself? Yeah. You know? So that's really what I think this is more about. And I think we have to find a way. I'm not for, you know, necessarily banishing people to some, you know, island. I'm just saying, let us be who we are and free be that. You know, I'm noticing, and I'm not sure whether this individual is, I'm looking at comments, and this is the secretary put something, and the Ramos is saying, why waste time discussing so much negative? I would say to you, my brother, I'm assuming, we are discussing facts. We're not discussing the negative things are happening. And if what you're hearing on here is offensive to you, then please click off.
Yeah, log off then. Anybody making you stay on this? Anybody making you stay on this feed?
Yeah, you don't have to. And I'm not being smart. I'm just saying, rather than, you know, click you off, you know, people are on this feed because they know the kind of information that we bring forward. We are able to speak freely here. And the negative that we're speaking about is the reality that so many people fail to recognize. And once we can get our people to recognize that, maybe we will do the positive things that we need to do in order to, you know, do this, you know, just reclaim our birthright and our nationality and all that. I do not apologize for what.
So Dr. G, Check it out, Dr. G. You said he's talking about negative, right?
Right.
In order to fix a problem, you have to talk about the negative issues in order to find a positive out of the negative. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
otherwise you're just gonna be running in circles. And if I can read this off from Still the Divine One, you want some positive, whoever your name is, you want some positive? Check this out. Listen real good, fam. Listen real good. There is but one issue for them Moors to be recognized, which I would say more, I would say so-called black people, so-called Indians, so-called Latinos, Hispanics. All right. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth. And it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. So what you talking about, fam? You want some solutions? There is one solution. The Moorish Divine and National Movement is the solution for the negativity, for the mistreatments, for the abuses, generational abuses that our people have suffered. Our people have suffered. So you want some positive shit? I just gave you some positive shit. It's one issue that we have to address. The Moorish Divine and National Movement, we have to nationalize, and first we have to decolonize. After we decolonize, how you people be like Dr. G, well, how do you Cush, man? How do you decolonize? You have to nationalize, fam. Fidel Castro, nationalize. Come on, fam. Che Guevara, nationalize, fam. Huh? Everybody from every other nation does this right here. They nationalize. You ever seen a German over there in China trying to take their land over? Hell no, you ain't finna see that. You gonna see them Chinese people form up and tell goofball the German to go back home, go back to Germany. You ain't taking over nothing here. Y'all want some? There your positivity go right there, fam. Take that and run with it.
And the other positive piece is that those Albion sons and daughters who recognize what has happened and are sympathetic to, where we Moors are, we do offer naturalization, which means that they will fall under the laws, if you will, the divine law that, has been negated with our usurpation. And we don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta get green cards though.
Right. So
all hybrid Europeans, you gotta get a green card. You asking everybody else to get a green card, then ask them where they from. Where's your ID? Where's y'all ID at? Where your green card at, European? What you doing over here? You're not American. Mexicans, you're Americans. Europeans, you're not Americans. Stop telling them to go back home. They're already home. Straight up. Arawaks, Tainos. Come on, man. We gotta link up. Yo, Dr. G, we gotta link up. We gotta tell them what it is. Y'all is not black. Y'all not colored, man. Y'all not Puerto Ricans, man. Y'all Moors, y'all Tainos, y'all Arawaks. Come on, man.
Yeah, you can't sugarcoat shit. You know what I mean? You can't do that. And that's the problem. And telling you all that's, it ain't nothing but chocolate pudding. No, it's shit. And we've been spoken for it too long. Yeah, y'all, man, I mean, what you need? Like, do you need somebody to burn it up in front of you for you to realize that the fire is out there? Like, what y'all waiting for? They killing our people. They murdering our people cold-blooded in the street for what? An unlawful. What's unlawful? They might not even be armed, and they still getting murdered. Come on, man. We got to cut the shit, man. You talking about, well, y'all talking about something negative. Nah, fam. We addressing real issues that people don't talk about, that you used to somebody putting sugar on the shit with these politicians. That's what you want. Moors ain't giving you that kind of sugar on shit no more. We giving you the shit. We giving you the shit so you could turn your ass around and be like, you know what? I don't know what they was talking about like that, but let me do a little research and some cross-referencing, because we not out here pumping that we shall overcome. We not pumping that out, man. We ain't pumping that kumbaya. Nah, we ain't doing that, man. And another thing we need to reject, sorry to cut your wisdom, but we need to reject all of these de facto fake leaders of the so-called Black community that none of us have ever got together and elected to be our spokesmen and spokeswomen. We need to reject them and for who they are. You know, they don't work for us. They only show up. They you know, they might be reverend. They might be so-called attorneys, lawyers, bars.
Yep.
Who are these people that keep showing up at certain times and calling themselves the representation of us when they're not even giving us our true nationality and birthright? We need to openly reject them. These are not our leaders. We have not elected or selected or come together and rallied around and said, yes, that's our man, that's our woman. We have not done that, and they cannot speak for us because they do not live the life that we live, because we realize that they are in the pockets of the very people who have us under subjugation. So we need to do that. We need to start saying, "Ow, sit the hell down."
Man, I mean, man, Dr. G, you said it right there. Like, tell that dude to sit his ass down. Anybody talking about color of law, anybody talking about we people of color, tell them to sit their ass down. Go to the back. It's time for the real Moors to step up and stand and enforce constitutional law, divine and national principles. Period. It ain't no time for playing. It ain't no time to sit back and be quiet, because that's acquiescence. If you don't say nothing, then you're a part of that corruption.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I think I got a little bit worked up there, but you know, it's just that
it's real though.
Yeah, I see somebody says, I feel Asir, the Duke of Tears, has the best solution for nationalization. I would love to get him on the show. You know, I've reached out in a message, and I'm hoping to get the brother on the show. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, we need to hear, you know, solutions and so forth. I mean, I even now have a promo ad that I just created, because I know that other people know of other people that would be good to be on this platform. And I am not, you know, I'm not just, you know, focused on who I know and who I've worked with for the last, you know, 9 years or so forth, or 8 years, but trying to get those men and women who speak, you know, honestly and intelligently to our situation, in addition to other subject matters, because I, you know, deal with metaphysics. I want people on here that are going to talk about, you know, the astrological, numerological, and energetic happening of what's going on now, because we need to know these things. These are the things that have been taken from us and given in its place religion, dogma. Nothing wrong with religion, but dogma. So dogmata has replaced our connection to nature, divine law, principles, hermetic principles. And so I want people on here that can say, yeah, I can see in dimensions, and yeah, we have realms, and yeah, we come from other places, and yeah, I've been here 250 different lifetimes, and not have somebody say, are they crazy? Because I know I've been here several.
Right. Facts.
I came here back for this one because this is a special time. I've had times where I came in and stayed just a short time. Not only have I come in and I've been here a while thus far, but I'm working to keep myself and my body in this vessel so that it can go for the long haul, for the task that yet lies ahead. We're not there yet.
Right. And the only way we're gonna get there is through knowledge. That's the only way. We only gonna get there with knowledge. Y'all not gonna pray y'all way out of this. Y'all not gonna sing y'all. I mean, I love how our people sing. We can blow that shit down. I love how people can sing the beautiful songs that we sing in these churches. But that shit, I'm gonna bust your bubble, is not gonna get us out of this problem, man. It's not. Only thing gonna get us out of this problem is decolonization and nationalization. That's it. Nothing else. Because if you look in the law book and you look up expatriation is the voluntary act of abandoning one's own land. Our people have voluntarily abandoned our rights. And if you don't claim your rights, you don't have no rights.
Right.
And then the whole John D. Rockefeller school system, Frederick T. Gay school system, has further just driven that nail in our head where we like, what do I need law for? Like I talk to people all the time, they be like, man, what Cush, man, what do I need law for? And I'm like, law is the key. That's the one subject, Dr. G, that our people look at like COVID-19. That shit. Like the law book, that's COVID-19. Put your mask on, go the other way because that law book is COVID-19. Don't touch that shit. Don't touch that. That's COVID-19. That shit is the plague. That shit is the AIDS. That's the AIDS virus. Don't go by that shit. You better not go by that law book. That's how people attitude be. And it's like, that's the key. That damn law book.
Revelation. That's the other CV19, the book of Revelation. It was so funny. You know, here you are. I was a pastor. Your mother's a pastor, right?
Yep.
Pastor. But so I'm a pastor, and there's a book in the book that we're teaching to be afraid to open the book. Do not open the book. Don't look into the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation, and one of the things that like I said, I would love to speak to pastors and ministers with regard to looking at that book, the whole book, not just I'm talking about the Bible, Helios Biblos. Look at it totally different. And so there's a scripture that talks about and we taught it, that there was going to be a great falling away. And, and the way the great falling away was taught was in such a way that people were going to fall away from the truth, that men would be lovers of, darkness rather than God, all of that stuff. And the truth of the matter is that the great falling away that they spoke of or speak of is actually what we're calling the Great Awakening. They knew astrologically this day would come. They knew that they would move out of the Piscean age of illusion, of cover up, of all of the stuff, the trickery of the church, the control and so forth. They knew that every astrological sign had its ending, a beginning and an ending. That's why Yeshua is alleged to have said, when the disciples said, well, what are we going to do? When he said, I'm out, right? He's like, going to the next town and there you'll find a man with a water pot, follow him. And so, of course, Grand Sheik, was corrected me from a standpoint of, yes, there's no real Hebrew, but there is a course, because I took it in theology, called Hebrew Manners and Customs. If you take a course such as that, even though it's deceptively called Hebrew, you would learn some of the things and the mannerisms of the people allegedly at that time. Women carried water. So that story of Joshua ben Joseph telling the men to go look for a man with a water pot was out of place, except that it was a sign of an astrological change to the sign of Aquarius. The energy of Aquarius, the Aquarian light we're not fully in it, but we're feeling the awareness of it. And so is causing people. Back in the day, the fifth dimension said this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and it talked about all the various things that were, earth, wind, and fire, and all the different ones that were woke back then and we're trying to drop those jewels on us. Let us know that this is going to be a time of the great apocalypse or revealing. It means you're uncovering stuff. It means the shit that was hidden is now being revealed, and that's what the church was teaching. You don't want to learn about what we've been lying to you about.
Right.
You don't need to know that stuff. They taught it as some horrific time that was going to come upon the people, when the truth is the horrific time is not on us, but it's on those who have lied to us.
Big facts. Big facts.
I taught, I preached, I taught, I got, I earned their doctorate degree. And I was like the scripture that said allegedly, and I always say allegedly because I don't know what was true, but if Paul says, I count it all dung. After you learn that stuff, you say it ain't crap. When you realize what you were taught, because the most of what I learned after I woke up. Is that your baby?
Yeah, you want to say? What's up? Say peace. Say peace.
Peace.
How are you? How are you? But you
More Chanel can.
Okay.
What's the 5 principles?
Virtue, peace, freedom, justice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Going over there. I'm gonna come over there y'all before y'all go to bed.
That's it. Yeah. So, you know, really the majority of the things that I learned when I started awakening, and I realized the things that I was a part of and I was promoting and was keeping people under subjugation just in a religious sense. And I couldn't do it anymore. You know what I mean? And so I opened myself to hear what my higher self always knew. But I had you know, pushed it all the way down into my subconscious, and I was only letting the new information, the one that was coming from the ecclesiastical hierarchy. That's what you teach. That's what you preach. And when the awakening came, nobody was trying to wake me up. The universe, if you will, my Most High woke me up on its own. On its own. And so was no man or woman preacher to me. It was just time. To start opening up myself with what I came here to do. And that's what so many of us, I think, you know, have not done. I think I said this to you when we spoke the other day. You know, when that time came and the tape appeared or the video appeared on your phone. Yeah. It was this time. Really, it was the alarm that you'd already set. Now, what did you tell me that you said when you were like 5 years old? What'd you tell your family?
I used to tell my family that I was white. I used to tell them I was white. And I was like 4 or 5 years old. I used to tell them that I was white. And they used to crack, you know, to this day, they still crack jokes. Like my mom and them, my brothers and them, they like, you know how when you come over for Christmas and all that, family get-togethers, they'll bring that up. And then I thought about, like I was talking to you, Dr. G, about that. Like at 4 or 5 years old, I was already saying I was white though. And I thought about that. And then when you start studying the more science, you are white.
And it's a status.
It's a status.
Not the color of your skin.
Exactly. I'm like 4 or 5 years old and I'm telling them that I'm white, and they kept looking at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, they ain't getting what I'm saying. But I never really accepted, because I just kept hearing them saying black, my parents, because of their parents and their parents. They kept getting caught into that black thing, and that that never really registered in my head though, that I was black. Because I used to think like, well, this is, you know, when you learn your colors and whatnot, this is black, then this is brown and yellow and all that. I don't look like that. So I never really got that. And then I had a picture when I was, I think I was 5. Yeah, I was 5 years old. I ended up drawing the Coptic cross. The joint with the cross there and the circle in the joint. I was like 5 years old, and my mama, she brought it over here. And I'm like, it made so much. She recently brought it up. I think she brought it over here this year. And I got new eyes now. You know what I'm saying? So my new eyes, ears, and my senses is up now. I'm all in. So I'm like, she like, you know how your mama now, you know what I'm saying? When you get older, you leave something at your mama house, you done moved out, got your own house now and all that. So she brought it over here. And she was like, look, get your stuff. Dr. G, I looked at this paper, man. Why was it red and green?
And you were 5 years old.
5 years old. It's red and green. It's a Coptic cross, red and green. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I still got it. If I come on this show again, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. So
I'm gonna pull it up.
You know, it's just, you have a lot of books, and we got about 15 minutes or so left. You have a lot of books that you normally bring out. What if you would recommend just from, I don't know whether you have any around you, but some titles that are like, besides, you know, most people know they need to have, you know, Black's Law 4th edition and you know, different. ones, but are there any books in particular that you would recommend?
Yeah, I actually just put a like a starter pack. I start a starter pack book list up on my page. But off the top of the dome, I would say get The Exhuming of a Nation by Pleasant Bay. I got that right here. Get Exhuming of a Nation by Pleasant Bay. Get this. You need this to kick it off. Because that's what helped me kick it off. You know, shout out to my brother Jamal Bey too, because he did a video and he did like a little clip and he was talking about Exhuming of a Nation. He was like, if you don't have that book, then man, you got to get that. So that kicked that off for that book. So shout out to my brother Jamal for that. And I would say you need this in your archive. They were white and they were slaves. You need this because this is gonna start to get your wheels turning as far as how we wasn't brought over here as slaves.
But of course, they weren't really white, but they were melanated. Right. I mean, they were what do you call Albion?
Yeah, Albion hybrid Europeans. Then I would say get this joint right here by Cosmo L. Murder to More. Kemet Until Now. This is strong, Dr. G. This joint go hard, right? It's a pamphlet, but it goes super hard.
Nadine Figueroa Bay said that Exhuming of a Nation is now 800 notes.
Man, they jacking the price up so crazy. When I called it for a stain. I called it for like 100. So it wasn't all the way up then. And I would say it's a book called Are You Confused About Law? By Jamal Abdullah Squirrelfoot Bay. Get that. You confused about law? I would say get this joint right here called Isonomy, Master Keys. Get this. This is like a starter pack though. Definitely you should get the Kabbalion though. Get the Kabbalion.
Right.
As far as like, man, you need the Kabbalion in your starter pack because that's gonna get your mind centered as far as what religion is. There you go right there. You gotta have the Kabbalion because the Kabbalion gonna get your head together as far as the seven hermetic principles as far as what you think religion is, you know, and all the religions come out of the Kabbalion. That's just a couple joints though, a few joints. You know, get you a
this book. You know, Taj is always talking about the picks were us, and I told you I found this book about the Pictish warriors. Although and I found it for $1, but of course you know they the one note, but they were tattooed. As you remember, you see all they had a lot of tattoos, and when they showed one of the masks, the pictures they tried to show a lot of the people as sort of like Albion, but when you look at the mask they allegedly wore, they look just like some of the so-called the African wall piece. And according to Grand Sheik, the pics were us. So here they have made us into something other than we're not. But this, when you read it, you'll just have to look of it, think of a different nationality, and not the pictures that they put, because you know they do reconstruction on everything.
Oh yeah, get you a constitution, get you a Declaration of Independence. Man, you off the top of the dome, get this right here. Get this right here, the Common Law Handbook. You need this.
Read it out. Read the title.
It says Common Law Handbook for Jurors, Sheriffs, Bailiffs, and Justices. You need this. We the people. You need this in your starter pack. If you're trying to kick something off, you need this. For real. You need that. I mean, it's so many though. like, man, it's a gang of them, man. It's a gang. I'm like, check my.
You have a list on your page though. You said so that
check my Facebook page. I just put a list up like a starter kit just to get your wheels turning in your head. For real, because that's what it's about. It's about each one teach one.
Now, you were talking about I think somebody mentioned ancient. What is that here? Oh yeah. Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 and 2 by David McRitchie. I had Volume 1 of them. It was funny. I think it was around 2013 or 2012 or 13. Grand Sheik was talking about that particular book, at House of Real Awakening Minds at one of his presentations. And a day later, that was a Friday. So on a Wednesday, I went to Goodwill and was walking out of the bathroom, and the book section at Goodwill was like facing me. And I remember him holding up this yellow book like the 3 or 4 days before. And I saw something the same color, and I just went to the shelf and pulled it off. And lo and behold, it was Ancient and Modern Britons, and I got it for 50 cents. I'd seen copies online for 40 and 50 notes. I got it for 50 cents. Oh gosh, looks like we've lost him. Well, folks, I think we have lost Brother Cush. We were almost at the end, and I know he was having some issues because he was on his phone. Oh, he's back. Good. We got him back. You're back. I thought we lost you. I was getting ready to make a speech.
Nah, it's all good.
All right, good. But I thought your phone had went on and died. But it was trying to.
I just threw it on the charge.
Okay, all right. So I was right. He's back. Yeah. So, are there any questions out here? Let me see. Anybody have any questions for Brother Cush?
Yeah, shoot it out.
Yeah, we'll take some.
We got a few minutes. Shoot it out.
Yeah, please. And listen, I'm hoping that you all, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, we ask that you I don't say this, but please give us some thumbs up, some likes. Hopefully you all been having watch parties on Facebook. Whenever we come on live, we hope that that's what you're doing. Let me see this. And there, I know who I am and who I come from, and the original moment, but the light of the hue of my skin doesn't seem to get it. Okay. Dakota L says, let me just pull it up. I know who I am and who I come from, and the original Moabite woman, but the light hue of my skin doesn't seem to be enough for people to not discourage me away from more.
Okay, see, you gotta get out of that. You gotta get out of the paradigm of Carlos Linnaeus. You gotta get out of the paradigm of Frederick von Blumenbach. You gotta get out of the paradigm of, they call it the skin game. Your skin complexion has nothing to do with your pedigree, your bloodline. Nothing at all. You are born a Moor. Your mother is a Moor, then you're a Moor. Your father is a Moor, then you're a Moor. But we know nationality comes from woman. We know that. But you are a Moor, regardless of how light you are. If your mother is a Moabite, then you're a Moabite. Period.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadine Figueroa Bay. Thank you for loving this show. Thank you. We just got to keep these guests coming. Eduardo Mitchell, I want to get your comment up here. I think I might have passed it, but I'm gonna find you because he said something to the extent that since nationality is free, I can't find it. He wants to know why Moors are charging for nationality.
Why they charging for nationality? Well, that's a direct.
It says, why are Moors charging for status correction when nationality is free?
Islam, Eduardo. Yeah, I know, fam. I spoke to him before, but that's the red flag right there, because nationality is free. Nationality is your divine birthright. Those are your inalienable rights. So for somebody to charge that, but you can go to this is why, Dr. G, this is why I rock with more science, because it all lines up with law, and law governs all events, right? So if you're talking about Murdoch, the Supreme Court case, Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, and you says that no liberty shall be taxed, no liberty shall be infringed upon. Your liberty, as far as you being a Moorish American, is your liberty. So that cannot be taxed or infringed upon. You can't transfer that off. So that's an immediate red flag violation right there. Now,
I would say that there are people I've heard and gotten calls from people who have paid thousands for this. Now, I think that there's nothing wrong with you're not paying for your nationality. That's that. I want to correct that, because your nationality is who you are. You might be sleeping more and don't know your nationality, but you're still a more. So if someone's paying minimal, charging something minimal, say for paperwork and your car, I give you a card and stuff, there are costs. You will call them administrative costs. I know for a fact, I refer everybody that comes to me, I refer them to a brother who does their paperwork for 35 notes, gives us a card for 35 notes. If they want the tag, the mortgage tag is 35 notes. So effectively for 140, I think you can get everything. That is cheap. That's the cheapest I've seen, and it's basically at cost. And so if you are interested in, you got to pay something. People can't just give you, if they're coming out of their pockets for supplies and so forth, it's not excessive. That's not, 500, 1,000, 200, 300, all of that stuff. That is getting crazy. 35 notes to seal your paperwork and send your stuff. 35 notes to do your color ID, your nationality card. 35 notes to do your right to travel card and your tax. If you want that, then email me, text me. You see my email, glitchccm@gmail.com or drniela@gmail.com. If you want that information, or call me on my number, text me, I'll give you the information and you can get that done. And
people have the right to be
nationality. You may have to pay a reasonable administrative cost for somebody doing your paperwork and giving you product, giving you evidence, giving you a card, giving you your paperwork, giving you your tag that if you want to rock that. That's reasonable.
That's very reasonable, because I mean, everyone has the right to just compensation for their work, for their labor. So if somebody's giving you compensation and they're giving, like Dr. G says, they're giving you supplies, they doing the legwork to go get the supplies and things of that nature, then they have the right to be compensated. But if, like she said, like if you talking about thousands of notes, like you robbing people and whatnot, then that's a red flag though.
Right. So somebody said that they were Osiris New Renounced Bay said, let me put it up here. Said I was going to go live on Brother Cush Day page yesterday for his Earth Day, but he was upholding the law on behalf of the Moor Islam. So that's right. Yesterday was your solar return, and so I did send you the picture of balloons and picture. So, but for those that do not know, yesterday was Brother Cush's solar return, and he spent about an hour having a mini interview with me.
We sure did.
And we had a really good time. Just as I said, chopping it up and building. I love the fact that I came here this time with the mindset that I could relate to almost everybody, anybody. Age is not a barrier. Truth doesn't. There's no barrier when truth is involved. You can't say, well, I'm too old to have a conversation with this young man. No, I see the wisdom and knowledge in you, knowing that you may have been here more lifetimes than me. You may be an older soul than I am. And I learned how to respect that in people. So I don't have an issue with how chronologically or biologically old a person is in this incarnation. I listen, I intuit, I intuit who that person is. And just like I connected with brother Dwayne Hendricks, you know what I mean? It's because you're able to know someone, as you say, by the spirit, so to speak, or by the energetic imprint or blueprint of a person, and that's what we do. Let me see if there are any other questions.
It's about that anyway, though. It's not about the chronological age.
So you're getting some happy belated.
Gratitude.
What is Cush Day's Facebook? His Facebook is Cush Day. Yeah. So if you just look for Cush and Day, Dey on Facebook, you can find him.
Yeah, I'm around. I ain't too hard to find. I'm around.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot. And like I said, he's always doing live, and somebody's always sharing his lives, and he's actually, and when he's doing them, you can see what he's reading and so forth and expounding on. And I, like I said, when I first learned about you, I was on somebody else's page, because here's what happens. Whenever somebody sends me a friend request, I don't just arbitrarily accept friends. Now I only accept 2 more now. So in the last maybe year or so, what I've been doing is, if I get a friend request, I actually go to the page and I see what kind of stuff people are posting.
Yep.
And I see if they have a picture, and what they're posting. And if they're posting nonsense, that's they have no picture. Nope. They have no friends. I'm not going to be their first friend. If they post nonsense, I'm not for it. So I have to go to the page and see. And so several times I've gone to pages and you popped up.
Yeah.
On pages, yes.
Wow. That's what's up. That's what's up.
That was how we did it. Well, listen, we're 2 hours in.
That flew by though, didn't it?
Yeah, to the original typhoon goddess says her solar return is in a few hours. Cancer baby, yeah. Well, we're happy solar return in advance of 2 hours. To
2 hours?
In 2 hours, yes. So, that water signs, we're water.
Let's go. I'm coming up.
So, anyhow, I'm looking. If anyone, that's on your side. That your phone is probably saying, "Get off now."
Nah, it's
People
just
try to call you. People try to call you.
My other son popped on over here.
Okay, so listen. We're going to go. But I really, really, really do appreciate you taking time out to be on the show. Let me see let me read a couple things. Trey Reed Bay. Is that
Wow.
Oh. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, well, you know what? I appreciate you all. Thank you, Trey Reed Bay, and thank you everyone, each and every one of you, for your comments. Whether I read your comment out loud or not, I do try to go through and read the comments. Please, we appreciate, even though this is office hours with Dr. G, it supports House of Reawakening Minds. Please, if you can, support us so that we can keep on doing what we're doing. Again, I'm going to put up my little promo probably that says that if you or someone you think would make a good guest for office hours with Dr. G, I want you to please reach out to me. You can send me an email with how to contact that person or how to contact you. Would love to have you on the show. I can do groups. If it's a couple of you that want to come on and really have a serious conversation, by all means, hit me up and we can arrange it. And I put a list. I'm looking for more science and looking for metaphysical subjects, people that are talking about current events and what's going on. I'm not looking to have a fight with anybody on my show, because I will invite you to my block party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, I give to an extent. I let people say what they say, but this is not the place to come on and, fight with each other and so forth. Don't do that. And if you don't like what myself and my guests are discussing, I invite you off my, feed, and you don't have to, nobody's forcing you to listen. But for those of you who know that this is a place where we're going to speak, we're going to shoot straight from the hip, we're going to tell it like it is and not like they want it to be, then you can appreciate office hours with Dr. G. Most times doctors don't tell you the truth, right? But I'm the doctor of truth, right?
Yeah,
I'm not here to lie to you, and I'm not here to, I'm not trying to win friends and influence people. We're just trying to bring those before you that can give you what you need. Thank you to Amanda. Amanda is one of my Albion sisters. I love her dearly. She came all the way up from Florida and the land of flowers, and spent a lot of time up here in the Northeast, and came to class every Friday. When she wasn't in Brother Abdullah's class up at Temple, she would be down on Friday for our classes. And I know she's one Albion sister that really knows what this is all about, and is And so I want to, and she's always on House of Reawakening Minds Fridays, and she's always on Office Hours with Dr. G, and I really appreciate her. That's to say, everybody's not crooked with what they're doing.
Yeah, you got people on both sides that playing it. It's not
some skin folk that aren't right.
Yeah, you got people that look like me and you that's twisted inside and out, and then you got some Albions that they abide by the Constitution and the treaties. So you can't get caught up in it, like we talking about. You can't get caught up in the skin game. But yo, Dr. G, I wanna read this off too before you close out. To say,
okay, some people are asking me about.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put. Please text me. Please text. Go ahead. You go ahead. I'm gonna just put a note out here for
It say this is out of the book Isonomy, the Master Keys, right? I want to just leave our people with this on their mental. It says, as a matter of fact, it is even now being hypothesized that how we think and perceive the world, our paradigm, can actually affect and even mutate our genetic code within our lifetime. I want to leave the people with that.
You know, when I was typing something, I think I was being a little sidetracked trying to put this up here.
It sounds good, because you know how in the lessons, in the Morris lessons, that it says that man is what he thinks, and man is a thinker first. Man and woman are thinkers first. Right. So this book right here was talking about, like, as far as the genomes inside the bodies, which is over 100,000 genes and in our 23 chromosomes. So it was talking about how mentally, this is why I rock with more science, because as you think, so shall you be. So it said the way that our minds are wired by the divine being, that the way that we think and perceive the world, our own world, like, you know how somebody can say, well, you thought about that in your own mind. We can actually affect and we can mutate our own genetic code within our bodies, within our own lifetime, based off what you think like. Because what you think, you shall be.
And that's what the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so that's the same principle, which probably comes from, the Kabbalion and the Hermetic principles, but because, mentalism.
Mentalism.
Right. So what you think is what you manifest. And so that is the reason why they have us thinking, and they put so many things out that subliminally affect our thinking. So you have to, there's a scripture that talks about that. It's like, guard your heart and mind with all diligence. You got to be careful of what goes in. And so when you look at the television, even when you look at us, you know what I mean? You got to be discriminating. You can't believe everything that we say just because we said it. And that's what you did when you heard Grand Sheik. You said, I don't know about this, but I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to investigate it and see whether these things be true. And so a lot of times people just want to take something in and they want to jump on every bandwagon that's coming by. And that's what's called being tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. So there's still things from the Bible that I learned that still are applicable to today. I could preach some truth without preaching dogma. It's because there's moral stories, there's practical information, but it's not given to people in that way. It's given to them under the fear of an angry God that's going to get you if you don't keep lockstep with everything that's being said by a man or woman who doesn't even walk and live in that same dimension of piety that they want you to walk in. How do I know? Because I was one. You try to err as human, and it's a part of the experience that you signed up for. To make mistakes, to get back up, to correct yourself, to leave, and sometimes, come back again and again and again. But, just the fact that we have been put into a trick bag, so to speak, of fear and condemnation. And there's now, therefore, no condemnation, not to those that are in Christ Jesus, but to those who are walking in truth, who the Christ degree has been activated in you, whose pineal gland is activated. You can't be condemned because you know who you are.
That's what it's all about. Knowing who, man, know thyself.
True.
Man, know thyself.
I couldn't go back and stand in a pulpit and lie to people if I wanted to. If they offered me $1 million, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because it's gonna burn you up.
DNA anymore. It's not
Right.
there.
It ain't in your DNA no more. Your DNA has been mutated because it's not.
It's mutated. Truth will change you, just like you said.
Man, it will. It will. And then on top of that, he talking about the Bible. Noble Drew Ali said in one of his prophecies, he said, "Don't throw away your Bibles because I'm going to use it to condemn the government."
Right.
So
and I was ready to do it, and it was Grand Sheik that told me. He said, "Dr. G, don't do it." He said,
nah.
and so I just opened myself up to truth. You know what? I'm gonna drop one thing on you. It's like, well, I don't know if I told you this because I know we're just having a conversation now. But one thing that came to me as I opened myself up to truth had to do with the story in the Bible that talks about when God was angry. And I don't even know anymore what scripture it was in, but there's an account in the Bible of God being angry, and he destroyed all of these thousands of people in one day. Remember, in the Old Testament. And so what my higher self let me know, go back and read this again, and I want you to see what it is the condition of the people was when they were so-called destroyed by God. When you read what happened to these people, they got boils and their skin began to burn and all that. And then my higher self said, now think of Chernobyl, think of Hiroshima, and where these bombs were dropped. Whatever happened in that time in the Bible was a some type of an atomic bomb type or some kind of chemical, if you will, that was dropped on the people. And then further let me know that this so-called Ark of the Covenant was a nuclear device and was the reason why it was kept in a place called the most holy place. They had to put it in the Holy of Holies out in the back. They kept it away from everybody because the priests, the Aaronic priesthood, were just like the nuclear power plant workers of today. And the robes that they wore, the stuff they wore on their head, the stuff they wore on their feet, that was like protective gear, the protective gear. And so the breastplate that they had on them was the same thing that a person who works in with say X-rays and so forth, and they get exposed to radiation, and they wear these little badges on them, and when it turns a certain color, they can take it off and check to see their level of how much they've been exposed. Well, so the breastplate that they wore was the same kind of thing, and that the various stones would light up different colors based on the exposure of radiation. So when they thought God was out there killing folk, the priests, when they were in their, as they say, their courses. So priests had a time when they had to go in and work in the most holy place. But what they was doing was nuclear work. And sometimes they would have nuclear accidents, and they would say, God, kill the priest because he had sinned and he was going in there to make atonement for the sins of the people. He was going in there doing nuclear work. And when he would have a nuclear accident, he would die. And they said, well, then when you go in to get him, whoever went in to get him, they died too. Nuclear stuff had been exposed. So they start tying a rope around the waist of the priest and bells on the bottom of their robe they sewed. So as long as they heard the bells jingling, they knew they were walking around doing what they were doing. But as soon as the bells start jingling, they tug on the rope, and if there was no response, they could drag them out by this long rope and not go in. And the priest did because he actually had a nuclear accident. The Bible is taught like God was over there killing people. No, they was messing up. So when that same Ark of the Covenant was stolen by the giants, what's his name?
Nephilim and all that.
No, well, when Goliath and his folks, when they stole it, because they were like, we need this thing, we need this technology. When they stole it, they didn't get the instructions about how to use it. So they wanted to go away from them. Once they got it, they started dying because it was nuclear. They didn't get the instructions, and they was like, come get this shit because it's people. That's the true story. It was taught. It's taught to people like there was this God sitting up in the sky throwing thunderbolts of whatever, lightning bolts, and killing the people. No, they were having nuclear accidents, and the people around them got affected. And nothing is new under the sun. Technology, the stuff that they've been hiding stuff. This stuff has existed. The Bhagavad Gita will talk about flying ships, Vimanas, and all that, and stuff coming from the sky, but they'll never tell you that in the Bible.
They ain't never gonna tell you that because they want to make it seem like the fear, like, man, you gotta, like you talking about the fear. Fear is a device of control, and we shall not have fear as Moors, because us as human beings, Moors, we are one and the same with Allah. So why would we fear anybody? That's like being afraid of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna be afraid of yourself? If you don't know yourself, then you're gonna be afraid. But you know yourself, you ain't afraid because you know what you could do.
You're welcome, Sister Nadine. There's going to be a time, I think, when I might do one of these times is I might just get on and do some teaching, and show some things that we've been taught one way in the Bible that actually, meant something totally different. With this one, this is the funny one. Most of the time, they use the scripture about Ruth and Naomi, and they'll say that Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi told her to go in to Boaz. Everybody, all the women used to talk in the church about finding their Boaz. And so they say that Ruth was told to go into where Boaz was sleeping and uncover his feet, and lay by his feet. And so women, they teach it in the church. They, everybody don't find their Boaz because it's holy, holy, holy. But again, back to the manners and customs of the people. When you look up what it means to uncover the feet, it actually means to have sex with them.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. They ain't gonna tell you.
And to
Pastor ain't gonna talk about that, is it?
Oh no. So everybody looking for their Boaz, and if they didn't had premarital relations, then you did what Ruth did. You uncovered their feet. But they ain't gonna tell you that.
They ain't gonna tell you that.
They got the picture in their mind of this woman laying down at the feet of this rich man, and then when he wakes up in the morning, he is so impressed that he marries her and gives her, half his kingdom. Nah, she worked for that.
Right. She was out there thotting. She was thotting for that.
I mean, I'm just saying the what it means to uncover one's feet, what it meant then. That's what it meant. They just didn't say, the words that we use today.
Yeah, they try to blur it and make it seem like something that is not, just to get the narrative off in the favor that's gonna get. It's crazy because it's getting us away. If you don't know how to read it, it's gonna get you away from yourself.
Yes.
Instead of going into yourself, it's kind of like, if you don't know how to read the books, the science books, it's gonna make you go look for it somewhere else instead of always knowing that it's inside us.
Absolutely. Listen, I could go on. I'm not, but I really do appreciate you. I know this won't be the last time. We will happy solar return. I don't know how to say your Mog 9. I can't. Sometimes people's appellations or whatever they use as their the appellation that they use are hard to pronounce. But happy solar return to all the cancers. Everyone who's having one coming up, just had one, will be having one. We wish you a happy solar return. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love this when we could just be, like I said, chopping it up and
whatever. Chopping it up though. This ain't no script. Man. It's live and
no, man. No, I can't script this. I couldn't script this if I tried. I'm too spontaneous. Yeah, I'm too spontaneous, and I think that's the way. That fly. Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted. That's a fly about this big that just jumped on my computer. But anyway, no, we couldn't make this up. Couldn't script this, and I like it. I love it this way.
Yeah, and energy. It's the energy. That's the thing. I want to tell the people, y'all stop wasting y'all energy, man. Y'all got so much, like how we talking about nuclear energy with the accidents. Y'all stop purposely giving away your precious energy to causes that produce no results.
Absolutely.
Keep that precious energy And like, it's crazy though, because you know, like daycare centers, right? Daycare centers, they don't discipline the children. What they do is they redirect their energy into do something else. So for our people, hear me out. Don't give away your precious energy on causes that produce no solutions. Keep your energy focused and centered on things that are going to produce positive results and actually fix things. Not still have a hole in the gas tank when you took it to the mechanic. You want to fix it, you got to go to the source. And the source is conscious Moors that's spitting this truth and this law out. And then take what we talking about and apply it to your daily life. That's how you're going to fix it. You're not going to fix it dancing and singing in front of the police. That shit ain't going to work.
Absolutely.
Dr. G, tell them to stop singing and dancing in front of the police, man. Straight up. They think that's going to work.
Yeah. That's that buck stuff, right? The buck stops here. Yeah.
Real.
It stops here. It stops here. Appreciate you, Brother Cush. Appreciate you, and I know that this was a very I don't know what this fly is gonna fly in front of my camera, and once it's trying to
the fly going crazy enough.
But you know what? As soon as I respect insects and stuff now, but I hate flies. I'm sorry. There's something about a fly that I don't connect it with nature. I connect it with maggots. You know what I mean?
They probably man-made anyway.
Yeah, look, I don't know what, but it's like he's taunting me. He's like all over my screen. So, yeah. But we're gonna let everybody go. And peace and love to you all, kinfolk.
Peace and love.
And let me see, we're going to go out. I always have to find my my music is one place and we somewhere else. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Dr. G.
Appreciate you
all the Moors for tuning in, man. Take the knowledge and apply it to your life, man. Teach your babies. Teach your babies, man. Teach your babies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really? Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. 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 Really?